Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and welcome to the 737 MAX in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 once again. Today we're going to deviate from the standard procedures on this channel, and today I will just not criticize anything that is not working, and I will just pretend and try to make everything up as good as possible to pretend that we are going to have a wonderful flight in the standard Boeing 737 MAX. Let's see how long we can do this and if we can make it all the way from Las Vegas over to Denver, which is our flight plan today for 1 hour and 20-minute flight. Alright, let's start with our walk around, and we are going to remove our chocks. I said we are going to remove our chocks. Okay, let's try that at the main gear. Maybe it works better over there. And when we're on it already, we can also remove the covers. So, let's find a click spot. Here is one. Okay, chocks are removed. And then we can also remove all these static port covers. And last but not least, the pitot probe covers as well. The AOA probes are undamaged, most important on the MAX. And then we can head right into the cockpit and start to prepare ourselves for today's flight. So, as mentioned, we are going from Las Vegas over to Denver, 1 hour and 20 minutes. So, battery on, ground power on. Then emergency lights armed, attendant call is checked, fire warning works. Okay, come on, overheat test, thank you very much. And that's working just fine. Okay, moving up to the overhead panel then, the voice recorder has been added in the meantime, very good. Here we go. So we'll turn the panel lights all the way up, since otherwise we cannot see any of those screens, and we'll do the same over here where we just turn it all the way up. The only thing that stays blank for the time is the ADF. Okay, we can do without ADF anyway. Okay, that much for powering up the basics, then let's go straight into the FMS setup. So here again, I do want it all the way bright, please. Okay, 737-8, 28K engines, and we do have a current nav database installed. We are going to use the GPS position of the left GPS, and then onto the route we are going from Las Vegas over to Denver. Like that, and it'll be the United Flight 1475. So we're going to depart Las Vegas off runway 26 right, and we got the, however you pronounce that, to departure with the trucker transition. And from there we're going to proceed to bump for the Ski 3 arrival into Denver. So Denver arrival, 16 left is the plan for the time being, and we're going on to the Ski 3, which we've got down here from bump. Right, route, let's go over here. It looks like it might need a little fixing. So, trucker to bump. And the rest of it looks good. Alright, activate. Then onto the performance initialization. We are going to fly with Costa NX30 today. And our aircraft is equipped with kilos, interestingly enough. Can we change that anywhere? Settings, that looks like it, but I don't see weight and balance over here maybe? No, not really. Okay, well, then we've got to fly this one in kilos, it seems. So we did have 160 passengers on board with roughly 4,000 kilos of cargo, leading to a zero fuel weight of 60 tons. And for the fuel we need 5,100 kilograms block. If you guys know how to change this into pounds, be sure to let me know. And also let me know what this CG minus 1.2 is down here. At ballast. And is that better now? Why is it changing the passenger numbers? 160, please. Huh, gives me 155 maximum. Okay, what happens if we go 0 cargo? Doesn't do that. So the CG is negative. But why? This is a little bit strange here. Let's go out and back in again. So what if we take like 6,000 kilos? Well, we're getting closer with the CG, but I am a little bit picky here because of the crash we've had last time. So I'm a little bit worried about that CG being wrong. Tell you what, let's do 4,000. And maybe that value over here is wrong. We'll find out. Okay, so reserve fuel out of all of this is going to be just about 1.9. Zero fuel weight can be imported if that is correct, which I kind of doubt. So let's try that again. 61.6. Why did it give me something totally different here? Okay, let's try that again. Or just override it. 61.6. Here we go. The CG is the one we got to be careful with. So we'll pay a little bit more attention to the CG than we just did to the gross weight. The plane will fly at 4 tons more without many problems, to be honest. Okay, wind component average 245 at 72. 0.72? No? Okay, well, then we do it without a wind and without a temperature. I am just gonna execute that. Takeoff 2, and we will use a 45 degrees flex temperature over here. Onto the takeoff page, flaps 5. CG, yeah, -6 doesn't work, huh? Okay, well, can we try that one more time? Somewhere over here, maybe? Or can we do that via the tablet then? Let's try over here. So, flight performance, mass and balance. Over here it is in pounds. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll keep that. Okay, tell you what. The main problem is that we gotta get the CG in line, so let's just do it like this. For the cargo, 2,000 and... no, not 6,000. Okay, rear baggage, let's make that 2,000 as well. So, 28%, that looks much better. Load an aircraft. And for the fuel, I think that has probably set itself to 5,000. Well, we need 5,020, so make it 28%, and you can give me that in pounds. Alright, load up, and here you go, 5.8. That's looking much, much better. So let's try one more time on the performance page, and I'll just delete. No, okay, then I won't delete. But now I have no way of importing it. Maybe if we just go out and back in over here. No. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll keep the weights as they are. As mentioned, that shouldn't have too much of an effect. CG, 26.0, 5.5. That's looking a lot better now. Very good. So, we are going to keep those numbers. Then let's go up and start setting the aircraft up. Over here, everything's done. Fueling is complete, so the fast belts can come on. Window heats are coming on. Hydraulic pumps coming on. Flight recorder is already on. And here we go. So, our planned cruising level is going to be 370. Why is my cabin... Cabin is climbing. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so 370 and the land altitude is going to be around 5,000. Here we go, 5,000. Perfect, so strobe lights are coming on, igniter to the right, and then we can move down a little bit. So, we do need the QNH in inches today. So, flight planner, we're going from class, McCarran International, weather. Wind calm, temperature 12, altimeter 3011. Set down here and set up here. Perfect. So I do want traffic, terrain, airports. Range at 10 should be good. So flight directors are coming on. We are going to search for some charts in a few moments. Or actually we can do that now as well. So, charts, departures, 26 right, and that one's gonna be ours. Also, we do need the ground chart and the parking chart, and we'll start on the ground chart down here with our runway track, and that is gonna be 259 on runway 26 right. So, 259. The same goes on to the heading book. And the right course as well. 259. Then, let's go into the pinned charts and have a look at our sit. There we go. So, initial climb according to the inset. And then right and turn out, and well, there is not really any altitude restriction here. So let's just take something high, something like 15,000 or so. I think that's good, and we'll put 15.1 in there. So then let's continue down here, fuel flow reset, auto brakes, RTO. Frequencies 122.8 and 121.5. I like how quickly you can tune those frequencies. Here we go, and we wanna listen and transmit VHF1, VHF2, and the intercom as well. So TCAS above, and the transponders on standby. Number one. That is looking good. All right, on the other side, we'll do this as well. So for our nav radios, we've got Las Vegas VOR 16.9 that we can tune in our radios. So mode VOR 116.9, and down here VOR 116.9. Both are active. The ADF is inoperative. We'll have to live with that. You go on to norm, my friend. That's the best way for any maintenance personnel to troll the pilots, but we spotted it. Alright, and that's our flight deck setup completed down here. So, MFRA is going to be something around 3,180, and that is not all that easy to set. Oh, here we go, getting there. 3,180. Perfect. Okay. So, light test. Is looking good. All right. Then That looks good. Are you ready for the briefing? So, threats for the departure. To be honest, I do not really see any threats here. So, for the routing, Las Vegas to Denver, United 1475, and the routing is via the Gidget 2 departure, direct to bump for the Ski 3 arrival, ILR 16 left, ground distance 591, 1.8 remaining. And that equals the minimum. Okay. So, left sea takeoff, off 26 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, speeds to be determined. Ultimately, and in case of engine out, straight at 3 miles, right hand turn back to the field VOR, pick up the holding, and in the holding we can go up to the MSA, which over the field is around 6,700 feet. Now, emergencies as briefed in the crew room, and for our taxi we are going to make a pushback with the nose to the right hand side. Let's see it on the ground chart. So, parking up here, pushback nose to the right, taxi out southbound, and then on to Bravo, or onto Charlie, most likely onto Charlie, all the way to the full length, holding point Bravo, runway 26 right. The Gidget 2 departure is on the chart over here. Initial climb is on the runway track 2,690. Then we continue towards Lalon below 6,000. Sorry, below 8,000, and that should actually be our first altitude then. So, below 8,000, and then a right hand turn. Glide above 5,000, maximum 230 knots, which we have in here. Then via back above 6,000, Aloli above 7,000, Tia above 14,000, Gidget, and then we continue via Nickel towards Trucker. Any questions on the briefing? No? Okay. Then safety inspection checklist, and before start checklist down to PA, please. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, batteries on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, IRS mode selectors nav, gear pins 1 to 3 removed, light test checked, probe covers 1 to 3 4 5 removed, oxygen tested, and I think not simulated, is it? Yeah, oxygen is not simulated. Alright, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches, normal and auto. Fuel 5.1 required, 5.8 on board, 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE galley power on, emergency exit lights on, fasteners on, window heat on, air conditioning pressurization, PAX auto, bleeds on, set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross-checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics. They still show refill, which I think is still that bug, but nothing we can do about that now, so hydraulics are checked, speed brake, down detent, park and brake, set, stop and cutout switches, normal, wheel by fire warning checked, radius, radar and transponder, set and standby, rudder and aileron trims, 3 and 0, takeoff briefing discussed, holding at the PA. Alright, then our clearance, initially to 8,000, runway and route as cleared, and the squawk will be 36, come on squawk. Okay, how do we edit that squawk? Apparently we don't. Okay, well, looks like that squawk is stuck. Well, let's continue on. Then we're just gonna go with squawk 2000. Alright, starting APU. And that may take a short while. In the meantime, I will say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon from flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of United. Welcome aboard flight 1475 towards Denver. The flight time today has been calculated at 1 hour and 25 minutes with a smooth ride in 37,000 feet. We'd like to welcome you all on board our 737 on this flight. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Once again, welcome aboard. So, APU, low oil pressure. Well, let's see if anything is actually going to happen. So I'm not too sure about these warnings here. As we can see, the APU seems to be operating. We can definitely see the exhaust heat here. Now this is definitely the point where I would wish my APU EGT gauge back that the Max doesn't have. But well, it's fine. The cabin is ready by now, so the no smoking sign has been set into the middle position as a reminder. Alright, looks like the APU is starting up normally. Waiting for the APU generator off bus light to come on so that we can put the APU on bus, and here it is. Alright, very good. So, GSX. Prepare position for pushback and departure, please. That hopefully includes removal of the ground power unit, because I am not too sure if there is any shortcut available anywhere here in the electronic flight bag. Oh well, we'll survive. We'll survive. Okay, our takeoff calculation is pretty much done. The weights have not really changed, so we'll just leave that stuff as it is. And then I'd say let's go ahead with the rest of the checklist. So, PA complete, FMC CDU set, and modern ILS box. So, automatic reduced takeoff 2 at 45 degrees, speeds 139, 139, 150. Set. Set. Okay, performance, weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door are locked and the doors closed, passengers are seated before start checklist complete. Okay. Let's turn on the APU bleed to get a bit of air conditioning in until the ground crew is ready for a pushback. And that does not look very healthy down there. Maybe someone should call for an ambulance. But other than that, here we go. Okay. So we want to push facing, well, kinda to the right. That's gotta be facing south on taxi lane. I hope. Okay, before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. Ground flight deck, go ahead. So, very good afternoon. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. Roger, thanks. Then, pushback approved, face south, parking brake is released. Roger, start the push to the south, and you are clear to start engines at your discretion. Roger that. Pushback is going to take a short while here until we are completely clear of the stands and everything, so we'll delay the engine start a tiny bit over here. So, just to give you a general idea, we're pushing out of the alleyway over here, and once we're clear of that road, I'm going to initiate engine start. We're pushing onto here, facing to the south, so that we can do a straight taxi out. So, before we forget about it later on, let's go ahead and trim that aircraft already. Here we go. And flap lever, you go back up. Captain, clear start 2 and 1. Roger, starting 2 and 1 in that sequence, beginning with the number 2 now. And that is actually the starter for number 1. Okay, beginning with number 2 now. Engine 2 start. And 2. All pressure. And 1. So, motoring in progress between 20 to 90 seconds. But imagine if the motoring really takes 90 seconds, it's really going to take a long time until the engine has completed the startup process. In the worst case, we're looking at a startup time of 2 to 2.5 minutes. So we're waiting for the motoring to disappear down there, and then we can turn on the fuel, which is now. Right, Captain, the push is complete. Set your brakes. Brake set. You're clear to lower the aircraft, remove all ground equipment, and advise when clear, please. Stand by for engine start. So, master caution, overhead. Not sure what it is. Oh well. Started cutout, monitor 2, starting 1. Clear 1. Right, we have N2. Hold pressure. N1. Motoring in progress. Right, he's already there with a clear signal and the pin. I'll just let that slide. Alright, thank you very much. Yeah, you are a clear disconnect. Show me the pin. Well, you did that. Clear disconnect. See you next time. Right, motoring is complete. Alright, start a cutout. Monitor 1. Number 1 stable. Flight control track, please. Full up. Well, almost full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, ProArt on, NEIs off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation mode, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected and the green light, start trim 5.5 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door. Nope, we actually went into the wrong checklist there, so let's try that again. Start levers, idle attempt, flight controls checked, recall checked before taxi checklist complete. So you come down and that's Very hard to read there. Up brightness, you come up a little bit, please. I think that's better. Okay. Brakes off, taxi. I did promise I wouldn't comment on the negative things here, so I'll let it slide. So we go straight ahead and then left onto Charlie all the way to runway 26 right. And we are clear on the left side and on the right side. So it's going to be a left-hand turn over here. Okay, before takeoff checklist down to the line. So, config. Check. Flaps 5 green lights. Tap trim 5.5 set. Takeoff briefing. Left seat takeoff, runway 26 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2. And the takeoff speeds are going to be 139, 139, 150. The SID goes straight ahead, initially 8,000 feet and then a right-hand turn out, couple of above altitude restrictions that will ensure we are going to meet, and apart from that I have no specifics. In case of emergency, straight ahead 3 nautical miles, right turn back to the field, climbing 6,000. And as long as we maintain VMC with the terrain, we can do that a little bit more relaxed, but the terrain really is the issue around the airport. We're going to mitigate against the terrain by using the terrain display, already active on both sides, and I think that's pretty much it. Any questions? No? Okay. So, cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete, down to the line. So we go all the way to the end, and then Bravo is our taxiway of choice. So, Bravo is coming up, down to 10 knots for the turn. A little bit of wheel brakes here to make sure we do actually slow it down in time. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So we don't need the weather radar for this one. Before takeoff checklist, below the line please. MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Are you ready to go? Yes, sir. Clear on the approach. Clear on the right. Takeoff. Okay, clear that master caution. So, takeoff thrust set, indications normal. 80 knots, checked. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. LNAV. Note to myself, very sensitive trim. Master caution, well, that's the bleeds. That's a known problem from our last flight already. We are gonna ignore that. A little bit windy here, but we'll let the autopilot deal with that. Command A. Oh, look at that! An increase in 10% and 1 to get to climb thrust. We'll let it slide, we'll let it slide. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. And flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Okay, release the cabin crew, please. Cabin crew released. Oh, hello. Gotta reset that away. And then we are passing Gleon. That means we're relieved of the 8,000 feet restriction. Let's continue the climb to flight level 370 as planned. Set. Flight level 370 checked, and that's set once, twice, and 3 times. Okay, after takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds. On, tax, auto. Landing gear, up, flaps, up no light. After takeoff checklist, complete. Now that's fantastic, isn't it? The view out here in Vegas, something I absolutely love every time I'm here. Okay, we no longer need the clock over here. And we've passed 10,000. Let's wait with the passengers until we've cleared the next turn over at Aloli. And, well, that's it. So, 10 checks. Fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air cannon press, 1.6. Yeah, more or less maintaining, but set. We'll ignore those bleed lights, we know that they are faulty. You should have tripped back to auto. Okay, fasten belts. Once the turn is complete. So, release passengers. Right. And then we are cleared to cruise level, so let's go full thrust. Alright, and monitoring 1 to 1.5. Perfect. Done. That's it. Oh yeah, it's a Boeing. We gotta synchronize the heading bug. I keep forgetting that. And it's not even been that long since I've flown the Boeing. Okay, in any case, we're up in the air. The 10 checks are complete. So, temperature 11. Yeah, I tell you what, engine anti-ice on. Better safe than sorry. It doesn't cost us anything. Except for a little bit of energy. Or effort. So, one last view on the script down there. And with that, we are off towards Denver. Alright everyone, I do hope you enjoyed the flight so far. For now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy the awesome views outside. And then I'll see you all as we're getting a little bit closer to our destination airport. We're approaching the top of descent, and it's time we can do a little bit of work. So, starting with the speeds, those are all okay. The descent forecast, well, the request is unfortunately grayed out, which is a little bit of a pity there. We do have some tailwind, so we expect to be flying a little bit faster, but that is that. Okay, for the arrival, let's go ahead and find the runway in use. And we're going into Denver. The weather over there, 207, so that's looking quite good. Then let's have a look at the airport ground chart in order to get an idea of the overview. So they say landing on 16 left, and well, I think that's definitely a possibility. 16 right, however, seems a little bit more reasonable to me, so let's go ahead and quickly exchange that arrival here. So we want to go for 16 right, and the rest remains unchanged. Perfect, so that is entered. So, runway 16 right, and we can draw a 111 mile ring, a 10 mile ring, and a 4 mile ring. Like this. So let's pin that chart. We can also pin the parking chart. And I think that's got to be APC number 1. Then for the arrivals, into 16 right, we have the ski arrival. Here it is, ski 3, and the approaches ILS 16 right. So let's start by having a look at that arrival itself. In the meantime, we have reached the top of descent. So let's start going down, altitude intervent, and then we can start catching our VNAV path. While that's happening all on its own, let's go ahead and review our arrival from down here. So we're inbound Basson, which is right down here. So after Basson we go towards Coteau, and then ski between 200 and level 220, which is looking good. Then we continue via Bagdi between 17 and 21. Telred between 16 and 17. And then Epic, which is over here, 240 knots between 15 and 13. And then to Cliff, 11,000 and 210 knots. And we've got all of that in here. So the ILS approach onto 16 right starts at Marin in 8,000. Then we've got, well, I'd call that Jettison, but I'm rather convinced that's not the actual waypoint name. In 7,000, followed by a 3-degree glide, which we have in here as well. For the missed approach, heading 173, minimum 5,900, right turn heading 218, intercept radial 254, Fox Quebec Fox to Bruce, climbing at 12,000. And indeed, that is exactly what we've got in here. Perfect. So then, let me accelerate this a little bit, speed to 80 knots to try and catch up with the profile, and like that. Alright, so minimums 5,530. No, not a radio minimum. Barrel, please. So, 5, 5, almost there. But let's first of all set the altitude down so that we can continue our descent. Ultimately, we're going down to 11,000, so we might just as well set that already. Here it is. And we're back on path. Wonderful. So, minimum's 5,530. Let's do the last bit of fine-tuning here. Like that. Perfect. Okay, for the arrival fuel, 2.8 versus 3.1 means we burn 300, which makes a landing weight of 64.4. Gonna do a flaps 30 landing here. Okay, auto brake seems inoperative, it always goes back to the off position. But that's fine, then we are going to use manual braking. If we have a quick look at the ground chart once again, we've got a 4,900 meters runway, so vacating somewhere down here, that's easily 2,000 something down the runway, so no need for the auto brakes, we'll do that manually. So, last but not least, we need the Corsair 173. And the frequency is 111.9. So, last but not least, for the missed approach, we need Fox Quebec Fox, Falcon VOR 16.3, so let's also go ahead and tune that one. 11630, 11630. Okay, and that's it for our setup. So, with that out of the way, let's continue our descent down. I'm also going to fasten the seatbelts already, as it did seem a little bit bumpy every now and then. And then, I see you all as we're getting a little bit further down and in time for the approach briefing. So, passing 14,000, let's change over to the local QNH, which here in Denver currently is 2997. So, 2997 set once, and set twice. Alright, so 10 checks please. The fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on. The lights are on, angular bank 25, aircon and press, well, 2.6, maintaining set, fast modes on, recall checked, 1 to 1.5 is deselected, and that's the 10 checks already completed. So far, so easy. We are already receiving something here as well. India Delta Quebec Quebec. Let's see if that's already the correct ident. It is. Okay, wonderful. Then we can continue with the frisk check straight away. So frequencies, 111.9, set 3 times. Fixed rings, runway 16 right, well that distance is incorrect, so we can ignore that. Let's just delete them then. So rings not applicable, items, India Delta Quebec Quebec are checked 3 times, standby instruments. Well, not set, and the courses 173 are checked. Wonderful. Okay, continue on the present heading, and then let's descend altitude 8,000. So, level change, 230 knots, and we should go down towards 210 knots, according to the procedure. And that's it. So, extend the centerline, please. Out of Marin, 173 inbound. And execute. Looking good. Approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, second cross-checked, approach aids checked and set. Approach checklist complete. VSD unavailable by the looks of it. Well, so be it. And that's that. Alright. So, nice downwind. In 10 miles we can make a right-hand turn onto the base. 8,000 over at Marin is correct. We are already down at a nice speed. That's everything we could possibly ask for. Okay, I'm kinda intrigued. Normally I would love to do some hand flying right now, but I'm honest with you, the trim is just overly fast at the moment, so I'm a little afraid of even trying, but tell you what, let's do it. Okay, manual flight, and manual thrust. So the airplane has quite a tendency to bank to the left here. Let's counter that. A little bit of right rudder trim until the airplane no longer banks. That's 737 standard stuff, unfortunately. Alright, and now it keeps going straight. Perfect. Okay, let's help it a tiny bit. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. As mentioned, the trim is a little bit defective. So, speed is looking good. Turn right, heading 080. And speed 180. 181 if that keeps us. So, enormous drag on the first flap setting here. Just look at that. Level in 8000. So those flaps are definitely too fast. But you can see I've turned the automatics back on because I personally find the airplane, well, that's going to be the only negative thing I just have to say in a video like this. I find it manually unflyable. Completely unflyable. Because the trim is just so super effective. There is just no way for me to hand fly this if any sort of trim is needed. Okay, so waiting until we're 2 miles from the center line. So around about now, then turn right, heading 130, cleared for the ILS approach. And I think this is looking quite good. We can maintain 8000, should be able to intercept just about fine both at the same time. Up here everything's done, the cabin should by now be ready. Why are the engine bleeds off? And interestingly enough, the airplane pressurized normally anyway. Okay. Bollock captured. Runway heading 173 set. Glide stop captured. Go around altitude 12,000 set. Flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. So, speed is reducing nicely. Terrain noted. But as you can see up here, we are doing about 165 indicated, which results in a TAS of 190. That's why. Gear down, flaps 15. And landing checklists down to flaps, please. Start switches, continuous recall, checked, speed brake, armed. Armed green light, landing gear down 3 green. Auto brakes off and holding at flaps. Flaps 30. Speed checked, flaps 30. So flaps 30, 30, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete. So master caution air conditioning. And that was the bleed lights again. Yeah, disregard those. Okay. Let's try one more time. So, autopilot and auto throttle off. Checked. So ground speed 150 something knots. That is seen. 500 continue.
400.
A little bit bumpy everything here, but that makes things a lot more fun, doesn't it?
Approaching minimums.
Checked.
200. Minimums.
Continue. On the poppies.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brake up, thruster is normal. 42%. $80 knots. We will take the second exit to the left. Okay, where is that rapid exit taxiway? Looks like we gotta go a little bit further. Good thing that there is no one behind us. So a little bit of thrust to keep it rolling at 30 knots. Well, and here we are. We made it to Denver. Gotta say, this is a pretty cool shot, isn't it? If only the plane would remain controllable while in the drone view, and not just start leaving the runway on its own. Okay, runway vacated. Looks like in order to maintain 30 knots I need to keep such a high thrust setting. That means definitely no single engine taxi for us. And that's the after landing items complete. So, off to the left here. I'm taking it rather quick because, you know, not really any need to slow it down. So, that would have been 16 left, our originally planned runway. As you can see, there was really no reason to go for that, as the other one was just a lot more efficient. So, parking will be at the terminal straight ahead. APU is coming on. Engines to idle. Let's give it a little while to slow down so that we don't need to use our brakes. Master caution APU, and that's just the oil pressure, no problem. Alright, so next gate to the right. Lights are off. So we need a bit of power to keep it rolling, that's fine. And here we are. So, parking brake is set. Well, they were quick with the ground power this time. But the gen of bus lights didn't come on. Well, we'll remain on the APU then. 2 blue, 1 red. Engines dead. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Transit shutdown checklist. Electrical on APU, fast modes off, ProArt auto, NEIs off, air compacts on, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior lights set, start switches off. So auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up on a light, parking brake is set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB in, cockpit door unlocked. Transit shutdown checklist complete. So, thank you very much everyone. I hope you liked this format of a video. Of course, I didn't comment on so many issues that I came across. So, don't think that this airplane is perfect or anywhere nearby just because I didn't set anything. That was part of the plot. I could have said a lot, but I'm very much looking forward to your kind of feedback on a video like this. Did you enjoy this? Do you want me to do more like this? Leave it in the comment section down below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching and see you all again on the next one.